Hello, my friends, and welcome to a space where pleasure is treasured, relaxation is not what you think it is, and life firing on all cylinders is what we're about. If you are somebody who wakes up every day asking for way more, consider this your happy place. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm your host, Heather Nichols. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. It's Heather Nichols here. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm home. So happy to be home. I have been in Europe for a month and I just returned home the other day, about 3 days ago. And I think the last podcast I did was, I don't know, either from here or maybe right before or right when I got to Europe. Oh yeah, I did do one in Europe. I normally try to do these every week, and wow, was I just the change, the pace, the movement, the energies, everything was just very full on in a beautiful way in Europe. And I just didn't, it was like every time I went to do a podcast, it was kind of like, I don't really know what to say. There's so much going on and I don't know how to talk about it. And so today I just wanted to pop on and probably do a little bit of a quickie. But there's been so much change and so many energies that have opened up from the past month and all the classes that I was part of. We just had the Maestro class in Access Consciousness, which is happens once a year. It's kind of a highlight of the year. It's a really powerful class and so much changes and opens up from this class. And I really have, I've gotten very excited about what is possible with creation and what is possible with bodies from this class and so many other things that just don't really have words, but the creative possibilities that are available to all of us now from so much of the change that's been going on in the world recently and kind of across the universe in a way, has been very different than anything I've seen before and really exciting. And I actually have a class coming up this week called The Miracle of Being You in Business, How to Create Everything You Desire with Half the Work and Twice the Profit. And this class I was going to do a couple weeks ago, and the class was like, please wait until after the Maestro class because you're going to know so much more. There's going to be so much more. And one of the things that happened with the class when I was going to do it a couple weeks ago is I was like, I didn't really had a sense of the energies, but I didn't really have a sense of like where the class could go. And not from defining it, it was more just like a lot of space. And Dr. Dane here, who's one of the co-creators of Access Consciousness, is going to be co-facilitating the second call with me, which I'm really excited about. And it's just I love exploring creation from being, because the more that we be, the more that we receive, the more that we create, and the more exciting everything is, the more ease everything is. And this is why it's called the miracle of being you in business. And then, about creating everything with so much less work and so much more profitability in all ways, because profit can include, it's not just about the money, it's about the creation of a future as well. But one of the things that became so clear to me in the Maestro class specifically was just how much we include other people's energies in our worlds. And when you're creating energetically, which we all are, whether we know it or not, but the energetics of creation are such that when you're being you and you're creating, like what it is that you're asking for is really like something that you're very sort of aligned with as a being. Like it's very much an expression of you, what's true for you, what's possible for you as a being. And it also has a lot to do with what you know is possible. And so many of us know things, like that so many things are possible that just we don't we don't give ourselves the space, the honoring, um, to actually pursue them. Like so often it's like for me, like I've been asking for a lot more, actually a lot less travel, um, and more time at home and more like people coming here. My house, my new farmhouse is like a gigantic hug. It's just so wonderful. I feel like when I'm here, it's just like hugging me all the time. And I so want to share that with other people and just have them experience the beauty of this place. And that's one of the things I've been asking for. And and it's so cool to see how sometimes I go into kind of the thinking of like, okay, well, what do I need to do to create that? And not really, and just like, well, I could just ask for it and I can follow the energies that match that future. And for me, those energies have a lot to do with relaxation, tending to my body, like taking really, really impeccable care of my body in ways that I have never chosen before. um, and and really listening, like having kind of a more silence in my world, more listening, and more presence with everything that I'm creating, and more presence with my body. Um, and as I do that, it's like what other people's stuff is so much less in my world, and there's more space where I actually am so much more congruent with what it is that is true for me and what it is that I'm asking for. And anytime we get to that place, and I don't really love the word congruent, it's got a lot of judgments that go with it, and it's been used in some funny ways, but it's like when you're what it is that you're asking for is truly yours. It's true for you. It's not somebody else's dream that you think is your dream. You're not trying to mimic somebody else's business. You're not trying to do what, somebody in your family wants you to do, or a friend or whatever. It's like truly what is true for you in this moment, and that will always evolve and change as well. But when that's what you're asking for, and that's what's sort of guiding you and inspiring you to create, then the universe like has such an easier time coming in and delivering, whatever it is that you desire, and giving you the awareness of what you need to choose and what you need to do and what actions you need to take when it's when you're like, yes, this is true for me. This isn't about anybody else. I'm not busy with other people's stuff. I'm not trying to heal people. I don't have to do things for people. I don't have to do things because other people need me to do them. I don't need to not do things because it would upset other people. Like there's so many ways that we modify what we're asking for because of other people that we don't even think about. And anytime you do that, you're not being you. And you don't get to truly listen to the whispers of the universe that show you where to go. You also don't get to listen to the cues that your body is giving you. It's like your energy, like the space of you is full of other people. The space of you needs to be, in a way, empty of other people. Not empty, but all the stuff that you do, choose, be, create for others or because of others, like clear that out of your space. And how do you get clear on that? How do you do that? Well, that's a lot of what the tools of access consciousness are about. And it is also some of what we will dive into in the Miracle of Being You calls in business. It's it's a it's in a space of exploration that is in a lot of ways beyond the scope of just a podcast. And at the same time, like we know, I guess the main thing I can say right now is we know when something is resonating, it's true for us. There's a lightness to it. There's a sense of like enthusiasm and excitement, and this sense of like being excited for what you're up to, and a sense of that it's really possible. Because anytime that you're truly asking for what's true for you, you're choosing what's true for you, you're creating what's true for you. And again, not as a definition, not as something that you hang on to, but something that you also allow to evolve because you're present and you're staying in question. But when that's occurring, it's like everything can line up and contribute, and you get it. It's basically kind of like being in like a flow state. They talk about that in other psychological circles, being in flow, being in a state of flow. And that can only show up when we have this sense of like really having our own backs and like listening and knowing what's true for us as a being, and also this deep listening to our bodies, because our bodies can show us a lot of new energies and spaces and things we can choose that have nothing to do with like our past basically, or what we've decided needs to be. But it's more like if your body requires something, a lot of times that will give you the space, if you choose it, and there's a nurturing energy there of what you're choosing with your body, it will open up new spaces of creation for you, and it'll open up your receiving. And that's pretty freaking amazing. I have a quickie story. The last time I got a mortgage, before I bought this house, when I bought my other house, our mortgage fell through the morning we were supposed to close on the sale of the house. And I woke up, I was so excited, I was going to go sign, da da da. And the lady called me and she said, we can't, it was so funny. She said, we can't give you a mortgage because you guys aren't married. And this is like 2015. It was a long time ago. But, and we weren't married. But we were, whatever. It was like not a reason to not give us a mortgage. But it was so interesting because I just went, okay, well, what else is possible? I started using the tools and asking questions and, calling who I knew to call and doing what I knew to do. And I just stayed, I was like, this isn't falling through. I know this is going to happen. So I'm just going to stay with this and stay with this and stay with this and see, where we go. And so I just kind of like followed the breadcrumbs. And I got to a point where I had been on the phone, talking to lots of people, bankers, mortgage people, et cetera, et cetera. And I had kind of exhausted all of my options, and things were in motion. I had set a lot of things in motion. I had done what I needed to do based on my awareness and based on the fact that what I was creating was very clearly true, clearly my house, clearly something that was, sort of meant to happen in a way. And so, so I was just asking questions. And so I went, okay, so now what? Now what do I do? What's the next step for me here today? And I just got, my body was like, take a nap. And I'm like, really, body? And my body was like, take a nap. So I did. I was tired. I had been a stressful morning. I laid down, I took a nap. And I don't know, half an hour later, I woke up to a phone call from the president of a bank who was like, I have a mortgage for you. And it was and he was like wonderful and just like so helpful and wanted to know about us and all these things. And I'd never met this guy before. We just had gotten connected to him, but he was just this wonderful man that helped us, and it was in the depth of relaxation that nap created for me that allowed everything in the universe to just like magic its way, miracleize its way into fruition. And I was in a space of receiving because I was napping. I was relaxed. I was deeply relaxed. And I was receiving. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't trying to force something to happen. And it was my body that showed me that energy, that space, and I was willing to listen to it. And then it was also, just me doing what I knew to do. And I had already done the work. I had already made the phone calls, and it wouldn't have just happened if I hadn't made phone calls. I needed to take action. But it was maybe a few hours, of calls. And then it was, okay, I've done everything I can do here. And the next step, I have no idea what's going to happen after this, but the next step is my nap. And I remember even it was a Friday, so I was like, oh my gosh, I have a day to get this thing handled. And 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 it was handled within a few hours. And how do you get a mortgage within a few hours? Like that's getting mortgages is it's a very interesting process. And so that's a story that I've told many times, and you may have even heard me tell it before if you've taken classes with me. But I love that story because it was just such a beautiful example of the miracle that I could be, by just following the energy and doing what I know to do, and also really including my body and listening to my body. And I would say business can be like that, more and more and more all the time. I mean, that was 10 years ago, so now it's like what is possible with business is just, it's so different. And I mean, and meaning like way greater than that even, and we have to have the courage to lean into those spaces where we know something is possible in order to really open those spaces up so that we can receive the contribution that is there for us. And it is a courageous choice, really. We don't like, most of the world really values hard work and effort, and you have to work your butt off to prove that deserve whatever it is that you've created. And that's, for me, like when I look at the miracle of being me in business, it's like that's not at all what I am. I don't want to work my ass off to prove that I deserve and, have kind of, then scrape by. That's never been something I've been interested in. And the more I've gotten out of judgment of me, this is a huge one because we judge ourselves so much. The more I've gotten out of judgment of me, the more I've been able to show up as the brilliance of me, like knowing what it is that I know. And the more I trust my body, the same, because my body just gives me so many cues, and our bodies can really be, again, this creative muse or like business partner, co-creator in everything that we do. If we're willing to listen to what it is that they're asking for. And most of the time it makes no logical sense. We have to trust our bodies, we have to trust ourselves, we have to trust the universe, and we have to have the courage to choose things like taking a nap, when you should be springing into action. This is no time for a nap, but whatever that is, having the depth and the relaxation and the ease and the peace, no matter what's going on. And more and more and more of that. Like, what is it that you know about what could and should be possible with business? Like, how much can you enliven all of your creations with your joy, with having fun? Like, what if your body's asking for a lot more fun, a lot more play, and you choose that, and that brings this vitality and this liveliness to the space that is you, that used to be full of other people's stuff. But because you're willing to be different and you're willing to really know what you know and have that as an ongoing journey, you enliven that space with the living that you do, the joy that you have, the peace, the ease, the glory that you have and be. And those are the energetics of creation that are more powerful than ever, more effective than ever. And truly, like, it's just funny to see how friggin' hard we all think we have to work, and especially people that don't even know these tools, how hard everybody thinks they have to work in order to deserve what it is that they think they desire. What if that's not true? What do you know, and what does your body know about creating way more with way less? Like, way more in every way with way less time, energy, effort, struggle, all those things. And what does your body know about that? Because our bodies also, Our bodies don't like to struggle. When they do, when we are struggling and our bodies are struggling, our bodies are like, hey, can you please chill the fuck out, slow the fuck down, And so often we override that and we're like, no, I can't, you know. Well, if you can't, then if you tell yourself that you can't, then you can't. You're always going to be correct no matter what your point of view is. If you're like, you know what, that's an interesting point of view. My body knows something here and it's showing me, it's inviting me to something, and I'm going to trust that. I'm going to have the courage to be different in how it is that I create. And sometimes there's a gap between the choice for being different and then the miracles that show up. Stay with it. Just stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And sometimes you have to stay with it way longer than you think you should have, but if you keep going in that direction of the being you, and knowing what is true for you and following the energy that and choosing the energies that to choose and listening to your body, all of those things, it will yield such potent, expansive energies and growth and profit. Always. If you never give up, you never give in, you never quit, you will see the fruits of your choices. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer than we want. Sometimes not, everything is way available so much more and so much faster these days. So this is just kind of like a beginning, musings, to the Miracle of Being You in Business calls that start on Tuesday. We're going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and the following Monday, I believe. Monday or Tuesday. It's the 9th, 10th, and 15th of December. Dane here is going to be with me on the 10th. And then on the 11th, I'm also starting an 8-week small group series called Body Show Me. How do I trust you? So really getting into this body piece and how you can trust your body way more. Body Show Me is always a phenomenal series when I do it. It includes some private sessions with me. That's why it's only open to 8 people. I believe we have 3 more spots in the program. We are also translating it to Czech. If anybody, I guess if you needed translation, you wouldn't know what I was saying right now, probably, but maybe you would. There's a few spots left in that 8-week series. It's 8 calls, 2 private sessions with me, really exploring the brilliance of our bodies. So come and join me this week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be epic. It's going to be phenomenal, especially given everything that's changed lately. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see where we go because it's going to be good. So you can find the links for both of those on my website, heathernichols.com/events. And thank you so much for being with me. I will see you next time, whenever that is. I don't know, maybe in a couple days, maybe next week. We'll see. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Creation of Living podcast. If this conversation was inspiring to you, share the love. To work privately with me or for info on my upcoming classes and retreats, go to heathernichols.com. Have a beautiful day, and remember that the world thrives when you do.